is Audrey Alison. Thank you for joining me for your July 2016 forecast for the month. I am happy to be here. It's very hot outside, so if you're checking your rising sign and your moon sign for forecasts, you might see me in a different location. I usually start the forecast with Aries, but I can tell now it's about to be 105 degrees in Southern California today, so I might take it inside for your rising sign if it's different from Aries and you're still watching. So let's start the month. Thank you again for joining me. And we've got some activity this month as usual. So let's just start off with the new moon on the 4th of July. So happy Independence Day. Our new moon is at 12 degrees of Cancer in the 4th house. So your new intentions, the fresh new starts could apply to the home for you in the month of July, Aries. It could also apply to what comforts you, what keeps you safe. It's also about the new connection with your mother. Motherhood is the 4th house of home, and the maternal energy resides in the 4th house in astrology. So you want to set your intentions if you're looking for a new environment, a new place, a new surroundings. That's very positive at the top of the month. On the 12th of July, Venus makes her transit out of Cancer into the sign of Leo. Leo is activated in July, and joining her a day later is Mercury. So on the 12th, we have Venus entering Leo, and this is the 5th house of children, entrepreneurial endeavors, creative endeavors. Venus being in this sector through the 5th of August for you, Aries, gives you some time to prepare any creative projects that you're working on. Beautify them with Venus there, adding a harmony to creative endeavors. Say you're in a band and you're not getting along with all of the people involved, Venus will bring harmony to that sector. And also the relationship with your children is smoothed over at this time, and very loving, because that is Venus. Love, harmony, balance, beauty, attraction. And Mercury, a day behind her, into this sign of Leo through the 30th of July in the 5th house. So communication with children, creative writing, because Mercury is the expression, the writing, the speech, the learning, in the 5th house of gambling and sports, and taking risks, taking a gamble, taking the risk out on your own as well. Very independent and fun sector, the 5th house. Hearing from children who are older and outside of the home is common in that time frame as well, from the 13th through the 30th of July. Them wanting to reach out, keep in touch. On the 19th of July, we have our full moon, bringing closure in the sign of Capricorn in the 10th house of career. This full moon is at 27 degrees of Capricorn, and this is another cardinal sign like you, Aries. So this full moon is in an awkward position for you somewhat. It's a square in the career sector. There's an ending in the 10th house of retirement, the 10th house of paternal. That's interesting. The new moon is in the 4th house of mother. The closure is in the 10th house of father. So it could be relaying about the opposite energies of mother and father there for you, what you're beginning and what you're releasing, what you're ending. Also an ending in the career, in your goals of career, not the 6th house of work, but the long-term goals. If you're older and you are retired, well, a lot of Arians could be actually retiring at this point with the full moon in Capricorn, bringing a full closure in the sector of career. On the 22nd, the sun enters Leo, so there is a party in Leo. Most July there is, but to have the sun conjunct Venus and Mercury in the sector of the 5th house is very happy for Arians. And you need a little bit of a break. You're in the crux of the Uranus-Pluto square. And although Uranus is retrograding this month, on the 29th at 24 degrees of your sign, she retrogrades once a year for half a year at a time. Uranus, sorry, not she, he. It's a masculine planet. He retrogrades once a year for half the year. So this is actually bringing him closer to the Uranus, to the Pluto square that he has. So the 9-degree distance that they start out with gets closer through April of 2017 to 4 degrees, because as Uranus is retrograding and Uranus is getting a little bit closer to him in Capricorn. So there's a strong need for independence when Uranus retrogrades. The autonomy gets larger, the rebellion, and there's this it tends to be more potent. You don't want restriction, even though that's mostly Saturn, but you don't want to be tied down. You want the capabilities of breaking free when you want to. And I got lost a little bit in my thought thinking, when Uranus is more potent, being retrograde, it could cause some tension for you in the first house where he's stationed, of self, of body. What do you need to let go of in as far as back and forth a habit with the body? Uranus is a roller coaster ride. So with him in your first house, some things could be completely on or completely off. Very yes, no energy, up and down, back and forth. So commit to something. Try to. Stick to your guns. It's hard for the Arian because of that planet there being so spontaneous. It can work for you positively, and it depends on how depends on where you are here too, because your vision and your thoughts are creating the manifestation in your life path. So if you're more prone to worry and anxiety, then that's more so what the tension will create for you. If you are going with the flow and trying to get as much done as possible, doing your best, not taking anything personally, some of the 4 agreements there, if you haven't heard of that, by Don L. Ruiz. It's a very powerful book, but try to be calm through the more potent energy of the Uranus retrograde. The very tail end of the month, on the 30th, Mercury enters Virgo for a very long time, because Mercury will be retrograding next month. So, and I'll get into that, but briefly I'll say on August 30th, Mercury retrogrades. This is August now, not July. I'm a little bit ahead because I do want to discuss why Mercury is in Virgo for so long, a sign that he naturally governs on the astrological wheel. It's because he retrogrades at 29 degrees of this sign of Virgo, just as he's about to exit the sector on August 30th. And the retrograde lasts through September 22nd, going direct in your 6th house through October 7th. So Mercury officially will be in Virgo through the 30th of July until October 7th. And this is doing wonders in the 6th house of details and analysis and health. There is a review in this area for you, Aries, and it could be positive. You could find out what needs to be applied in the health sector. And since the first house of body I mentioned earlier regarding Uranus, you could find that those two work together, those two energies, the spontaneity and surprise factor of Uranus, and the Mercury review at the very end of August, because Uranus will still be stationed in Aries next month as well, and for quite a while. Okay, let's get to the cards. I'm anxious to read. In fact, I almost just wanted to read the cards today, but I didn't feel like hearing a lot of backlash on YouTube. So I'll just do that for now, but I might want to switch it up. So bear with me if I really feel like starting with the cards and then going into some of the forecast. I might do that. I feel like doing things that come naturally to me, so I appreciate you allowing me to do so. I am using the Alchemical deck by Robert M. Place, my go-to deck. It's a limited edition, And I will be seeing what comes up for Aries for July. And if you'd like to read with me, I'm at audreyallison.com. You can book with me there. And I'm on Facebook at Audrey Alison Astrology and Tarot if you're just interested in some posts that I put there. But you would book with me on my website. You would select your order via PayPal, and I will get back to you. Okay, Aries. Here is your tarot taster for the month of July. No bueno, I don't like this. Okay, so Three of Swords. To start out with this card, it could be the stages of what you are coming out of: heartache, loss, sadness. Pluto. Okay, so this Pluto energy in Capricorn, which is squaring you in the first house, squaring Uranus. It could be creating this Pluto being loss and intensity. It could be creating this feeling for you without actually having anything to feel that way about. It's just the intensity around you. King of Coins, mastering your environment and occupation, 10th house. 10th house of career, where the full moon is, closure, recognition, status, title change, being the boss, being your own authority, the entrepreneurial energy of the 5th house. And the 5th house, gambling, Wheel of Fortune, luck is with you, Aries. You see all that fire going up into the wheel? Being the fire, being the fire sign that you are. Excuse me, I'm choking on this, and I'm feeling like some Arians are completely restricted and feeling like they are stuck somewhere. But with the new moon in the 4th house, you could be taking a move. You could be considering a new environment to get a fresh start, to get unstuck. And when I choke a little bit when I'm reading in my channel mode, I do feel like I want to say what the normal definitions of this would be, but I'm being guided into a little bit of a different area, which could be, yes, you're lucky, take your risks, but do so not necessarily in the form of wasting your money, but putting it somewhere in the 4th house of environment to help you feel less restricted. Restriction. Okay, stuck. This is the card of being stuck. I just said something about stuck and being unstuck, but it's hard for me to remember what I just said in these readings. But the elephant in the sand, the 4 of Cups, isn't moving forward as quickly as they want to. And I want to focus on these two cards together in the reading because I feel like you will have a lot of work in the environment that you work in and the environment that you're living in, and with the relationship with your children. However, this card doesn't apply to that, but you will have the financial security to provide for them, which this card could mean. The King is the highest form in the Tarot. Mastering is a level of, that's where you see the full moon in the 10th. Perhaps Arians, some of you Arians have reached a level of a ceiling or a max in the career, and you can't go further, so you're closing one chapter of a part of your career and being promoted to another, a new title perhaps. One more card for you. The Knight of Cups. Don't forget to use the intuition that you were given regarding situations and paths and which way to turn. The Knight of Cups is finding answers within. So you might not need to look too far outside of yourself for that advice, although I love that you're watching the videos because you can always get some insight outside of yourself. But the Knight of Cups is really reflective and emotionally concerned with himself, his healing. It's also a younger water sign male around you, Aries. It could also represent a facet of the self, which is the intuition. And trusting yourself over others is an important message, especially if you're coming into the reading feeling like this. And also be aware, conscious conscious awareness of what is really happening to cause this and what is actually not occurring. It's your thoughts could be creating the worry and the anxiety alone instead of actually having a situation to tend to. I hope this was helpful, Aries. I'm wishing you a sweet July. And remember, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.